Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom here, and today is Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. We hope that everyone had a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you had too much turkey, lots of leftovers. We made a turkey soup that was always delicious. So hopefully you had a nice time with friends and family, a couple of days off from work. We know that the grind kind of never stops on the scrap side of things. So unless you turn your phone off, you really are always kind of tuned into it. So what's been going on the last 2 weeks has actually been really good going into the month of December. Here we are, 2 days left in November. December starts on Friday. And the markets have been really, I really can't believe I'm saying this. The markets have been really good. If we could just jump right into it, let's pull up the copper chart and then we'll go into some of the reported prices. Copper prices in the last couple of weeks have gone up about 20 to 25 cents. Now that market is the trading side of things, and we're starting to see bear bright prices increasing. Now, if you look at some of these reported prices that you see here, you can see, $3.10, $3.13, $3.34. You can start to see these markets picking up. So when you start to see these markets picking up going into December, that's a really good sign. Now, a lot of people have been holding on to their scrap for a while, and that's okay. But if we look at this 1 month chart here for copper trading, if you look at today's prices at 385 trading, you look all the way, a few weeks ago, we were down into the 360 range. Now, this is a year chart. If we could just click on the 1 month that's underneath, underneath the chart, yep. If we can click on that, you can see that we're kind of at a high point for the last month. But if we go to where the lower market points were, I think they were around 358 or so. Yeah, there we are, 358. So from bottoming out, that's on November 12th. So in 17 days, we've seen the markets jump 27 cents. That's really great. That's really great. I don't know how much more we could ask for. I know, we always want more and more and more. That's just human nature. But these are really strong prices with really stable numbers going into December. And not only that, here's what I think is important. Sometimes strong prices don't correlate to strong demand. Sometimes it's a trading pattern and something like that. This slow growth in the last 17 days shows that we're starting to pick up a little steam. We're trying to get some material flowing. So if you're looking to cash in your Christmas load, your holiday loads, this is a good time to go to your scrapyard and say, hey, I have 500 pounds of number 2. Can you do 10 cents better? 10 cents equals $50 in that case. And this is where we've done math in the past. And that's why following these reports, checking out the reported prices, gives you a really good idea. My recommendations this week are, again, all sell across the board. Maybe I would hold stainless because those markets have been kind of poo-poo. But we've even seen those going up the last few days. Gas prices and oil prices are really affecting a lot of these markets as well. I was driving to work this morning, and for the first time since, 2021, when the administration's kind of switched, I saw gas prices below $3. I saw $2.95 this morning. Why is that important? If it's cheaper to fill your tank, that means it's cheaper to fill the truck tanks and the machine tanks and the operating tanks of fuel, which means that overhead and operating expenses are down. And that's another reason we've seen an increase here. Now, if we can jump over to the ferrous side of things, let's look at some of the steel prices, because these markets have seen an increase of about $35 a ton in the last 30 to 35 days. Now, if you were to ask me a few months ago if I saw this coming, not even a little close. Let's touch on light iron, kind of a bellwether for steel, and let's just look here, averaging $144 a ton right now. But what we're starting to see is prices ticking up, 180, 150, 156. These prices are starting to have a nice increase, and we're starting to see the change happening. So we're seeing some nice numbers going up. A lot of it has to do with the oil and the gas prices going down. And a lot of people thought that the conflict that's going on in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine were going to have a major impact on the oil markets, which has not proven to be true. If we think all the way back, almost 2 years ago now, when the Russian and Ukrainian conflict began, we had massive market jumps. Catalytic inverter prices went nuts for a month. Oil prices went nuts for a month. Now they all settled down, kind of going into 2022. In 2023, things have leveled out because now we have a long, drawn-out war instead of the heavy blitz like we see in the Middle East. But we haven't seen that the Israeli conflict affecting the gas or oil prices in a way that we may have seen in other times. So that is why we're seeing some of these prices jumping up. Of course, we don't want any conflicts. We want peace. But when we look at this, we'll click on, let's click on shred. Yeah, shred. Look at these numbers, 140, a little higher than light iron, makes sense. 160 a ton, 180, 160, 150. We're seeing some nice prices, and don't forget, when you have your phones, jump up there and pop your prices on there. So let's go over to our cats for a little while. We'll kind of switch lanes for a second because this has been really, really surprising, and I'm certainly happy to see it. We've seen the catalytic inverter prices having really nice increases. The last week, rhodium's up over 6%. Palladium down slightly, but still up in the last 2 months. Platinum up almost 2%. So those markets are starting to change, and seeing a nice bump here might be a good time to cash in some of your catalytic inverters. At our cats, we have a 10-day price lock guarantee. So if we quote you, we're holding that price even if the market bottoms out. So here, look, we're looking at an average price today right around $80, but that did dip down. If we look right here, just go back slightly, right there on November 14th, 13th, 14th, $71. So we've now seen markets go from 71 up to 79.80, and that's about a 12% swing just in the last few weeks. So we've seen some nice market increases, and that's really great to see. Catalytic inverters were averaging over $150 to $200 for such a long time period. When you essentially cut a market in half, what's everyone going to do? They're going to stop and say, oh my gosh, something's wrong. And while something is wrong, it also may be auto-correcting itself. Don't forget, the auto worker strike settled itself out. I actually heard something yesterday I read in Connecticut that they're doing away with an EV mandate. Why is that important? Gasoline engines might be around longer than people think. In New Jersey, they announced that they're kind of following California's lead. By 2034, 2035, that all gas engines are going to be outlawed for new vehicle sales in the state of New Jersey. What does that mean? That means that more electric vehicles, more copper demand, but we're also seeing kind of a pushback on this EV side of things. So we might see a little bit of a resurgence on catalytic inverters in the next year or two. If we see more lawmakers, if we see more automakers, Ford recently talked about scaling back their new EV factory for a lot of their electric vehicles because the demand has waned so much. Their F-150 Lightning, huge demand at first, and now they're having a hard time selling them. They're discounting them, and Ford is talking about losing $5 to $6 billion on electric vehicle growth. That's a huge number, and if we start to see a reversion back to OEM gas engines, we might start to see, more uptick and more demand on the catalytic inverter side of things, and that would be a positive sign in the first quarter. So those are things that we look at. Now let's pull up stainless prices where, we got to talk about it because it just is what it is. Nickel prices are up over 2% in the last 7 days, but that doesn't make me excited. That's not getting me going here. 304 stainless, 304, 32 cents a pound. Okay, so we're looking at 32 cents a pound on stainless prices. And if you look, I can see here we have prices in New York, Minnesota, Indiana, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Illinois, North Carolina, and Massachusetts right? All having prices in that 30-cent range. It's just not moving anywhere. If we can go back to the prior screen, let's see if we can scroll down a little bit and see if there's just a generic stainless. Yeah, let's click on the stainless 28 cents right there. That might give us a better window. People might not know that they have 304 stainless. Yeah, so same type of thing, 28 cents a pound. We're not looking at anything crazy here. No big numbers, but nickel prices they've been really tough to deal with because I mentioned this in my report this week. Nickel was trading over $27,000 a ton, right? And now it's $17,000 a ton. But on top of that, it was all the way down to $16,000 a ton. It's had a little bit of resurgence the last few days, which is great. But stainless prices are getting completely hammered, and the demand is going down. And it confuses me because when I read articles about electric vehicles and kind of forward thinking on metal demand, they want to incorporate nickel into more of these EV batteries, into more of these solar batteries, the whether it's a wind turbine or solar panels where they need to store the battery storage, they want to incorporate nickel more into these products, and that's great, but the demand hasn't really kicked itself in. And one thing that we're having a real problem with, and I read an article saying that the massive amount of lithium that's going to be needed is going to double and double and double. And we might start to see prices going up so high that nickel, iron ore, and other materials are going to start to be integrated more into these different batteries. And it's just going to make it an easier process. But right now, we're not seeing a lot of strength in the markets. If I was to pick one metal right now to hold on to, it would be nickel or stainless steel. I personally don't hold any of these. I continue to get it in to sell, but we're in different shoes. I'm a scrapyard owner that's selling in bulk. A lot of people are scrappers selling to a company like mine. And I kind of give you my perspective, and then what you do with it is up to you, because if it's not a full-time gig for you, you don't mind holding on to things, go for it. I could definitely see nickel prices in stainless going from the 30-cent range to 40 to 50 cents next year. But I don't know how fast. That could be 6 months. And if it's big, bulky items, you might not have the room to store it. So those are kind of things to look at as well. Aluminum prices, let's pull up just some basic sheet aluminum prices right now. Nothing to write home about, nothing to brag over. We've seen a lot of people reporting prices in the last few weeks. Sheet aluminum prices, there really haven't been anything crazy. If we look at some of these markets here, sheet aluminum, 44 cents a pound. I know that I raised my prices at Rockaway. I think we're up to 47 cents a pound on sheet, so we're slightly above the national average. But if you look at some of the recent prices here, 50 cents, 41 cents, 47, 45, and that's in Kansas, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, and Illinois. So that's a really nice sample size. When you report your own prices, it just helps you get a better idea. And don't forget, you can use this kind of as a bargaining chip against other people. We have a lot of people that are YouTube members that get a lot of our videos early that they have exclusive access to content that we only provide to our paying YouTube members. And a lot of those people continue to ask questions, what's going on with aluminum? How can I make more money on this? And we answer those questions, and we give them videos such as our Auto Wrecker series, which is, being released on YouTube to our members only. And it just talks about how to take apart vehicles. We've been answering questions and things like that. So check out the YouTube page. If we could, let's just pull up our YouTube page, because while people are looking at it, I think it's really a good idea to kind of go through a lot of these things. With so much content nowadays, things kind of get buried if they're not on the top of your news feed, or it's not something that you do every day. And I think that a lot of people forget what a useful tool that iScrap's YouTube page could be. We have hundreds of videos discussing a lot of questions that have been asked by you. When you go here, you're going to be able to see our videos, our quick shorts, our different weekly reports. We kind of have them segmented just to allow you to, see what's going on. Our auto series, our weekly reports, how to scrap different metals, right? So all of these different things help you learn about the markets, help you get clued into things that I think about. So I upload these videos as soon as I see fit. This way we can kind of get the markets going. But we have hundreds of videos on there talking about anything from air conditioners to taking apart ovens or how to upgrade your number 2 copper to your number 1. So please check a lot of those things out. Going into December, I'm optimistic, but what I'm really looking for is questions. I'm looking for information that I can answer. I'll be doing a series at the end of the month talking about a recap of 2023, as well as a preview from data that I've been able to put together for 2024. Any questions you have, let us know. Ask here, hey, Tom, what do you think is going to happen with this metal next year? Or how does zinc affect this market? You know, I was talking about zinc prices the other day because it's not a metal that I buy often, but we got a bunch of it in from a customer, and zinc prices were, I don't know, 25, 30 cents. And someone said, oh, what do they even use zinc for? And I had to say, well, you know, yellow brass is copper mixed with zinc. Zinc is a hardener. It doesn't corrode. That's why they use it in brass. They use it to coat galvanized steel. This way it doesn't rust as quickly. So there's different materials that you can learn about, ask questions on, and I would love to go over those. And if I don't know anything about them, you know, like the auto wrecker series, I'm not an auto wrecker, so I went to a friend of mine. He showed me what they do with all their stuff, and it was just nice to learn from a different perspective what happens in other yards with other types of materials. So, hey, listen, Wednesday, November 29th, last Wednesday of November, we have 3 or 4 weeks left before the markets kind of, you know, go into the holiday season. So check this out. Don't forget, we have lots of merchandise that you can go and get through our shopping page, whether it's shirts or t-shirts, stuff like that. Phone cases, we've been seeing those going out. And we've seen lots of comments on YouTube and our other social platforms. So continue to do those, ask questions. Until next week, scrappers, I'm Tom, and I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for watching our video. For $2.99 a month, by becoming a member, you can get access to early videos, member-only videos, merchandise discounts from our store, and priority comments that we answer before answering any other scrappers. Click the link below to learn more. Until next time, scrap you later.